again and welcome. I'm trying to smile, but it's very difficult. As you've most probably guessed by the title, the U holoform ended up a fail. I was taking it to the Simon Hope carving jig and it fell out of my grasp. And the result is not very good. So basically, I'm not going to try and piece all that together. However, what I will do is carry on showing you my method of crack filling. Not quite as big as the ones that are on there at the moment, but the ones that were actually in the body. I'd actually sanded the inside and oiled it with Hampshire Sheen citrus burnishing oil, and I will go through the steps that I use to fill with inlay powder, or indeed you can fill with anything you require. So without further ado, let's get over to my broken U holoform. If you can, ignore this area. We're going to focus on the cracks. Okay, now you can see some staining here. It's not staining, what it is, the oil from inside has seeped through to the outside, which is not a problem because I had intended to give it an oil finish on the outside as well, so that will blend in no problem at all. I want to focus on the cracks, and one of the methods, the method that I use to fill this sort of crack. Now bearing in mind that this was filled with CA, quite a lot of CA, as was that crack and that one there, and indeed that one, that's the first one. Not to fill the crack because it was deep with powder, because that's a waste of powder, so I built up over a period of time the layers of CA that I used. Then when that was flush, I then take a Dremel to make a valley. Now I'm going to go close up and show you the partial successes and what needs to be done again, because it's a good exercise in that. Now if we look at this here, this crack here, now as I say, I have Dremeled that out and I'm going to do it and show you what I do. Now it's not too bad, but I didn't Dremel out wide enough because I've got a line here. Now I don't want that line. Important as well to remember that before you sand back, that you need to have all the powder proud of the surface of the wood, and that way then you can blend it in. If it goes, like for example here, there's a bit of powder missing. Now either it didn't take properly or the CA was absorbed into the wood, don't know, but you wouldn't be happy with that. We go to this one here, which is the copper powder. Again, here not too bad, this area not too bad at all. That's the best area because it's actually overlapping there and you won't have any line. So it depends what level of perfection you want to get to. And don't forget, this has just been sanded to 180 rather, just to get level to see how it's taken. Now I would most probably, and will, or would have, had it not broken, valleyed that if you like, and put the powder in again. And this one here, the same sort of thing. This area is not too bad here, but didn't go quite wide enough here, and it hasn't taken well there. So those are the things to look out for, that you need, depending on what sort of finish you want to get. Now what I use to create the valley is a Dremel with a little saw attachment to it. Now my advice, if you're doing anything like this, you're creating heat and the CA is going to create fumes, so wear a respirator minimum. What I'm doing now for the video is just wearing my Uvex for eye protection because bits will fly. Okay, so let's get this valley done. what we'll do is leave it there then. So just leave it there for now. And what I will do is fill that bit, and we will see the outcome of this. Now, my advice is to put the CA in first as opposed to the powder, because what happens is if you put the powder in first, because it's so fine, the CA tends to stay on the surface before it is absorbed, and it will run everywhere. So that is the way I do it. Now I'm using thin CA with a fine applicator. And just go along the crack. On this occasion we'll go to there. Now get your powder, and in this case it's the copper, and I find it's better to put the powder onto the CA as opposed to the other way round. Then I use a little brush just to fill it in, and you can put a bit more powder on the side here and just brush it into the CA. Now the excess will come off, it won't stain. You're going to be sanding anyway. And that's basically the method that I use. I'll let this go off a little bit, and then we'll touch it up with a little bit more CA and a bit more powder, and we'll see how it looks. I've given the CA to about half an hour. I mean, you don't really need to leave it that long, but I like to make sure it's sort of as fully cured as it's going to be. And then I'll start with 180 grit, so this is just on a little pad because of my arthritis, it's easier. You could use a power sander if you like, sander in a drill, but I like to do this, especially with you, because I don't want to cause any heat and I don't overheat it, and I could just gradually take it down and then see how it looks in regard to the fill. And I just do it lightly. You can almost see already there, look, a little bit of shine. That's why you need to have it proud of the surface of the wood, so that you get the full effect of the powder. Now I won't bore you with my sanding process, and I'll come back when it's done and we'll inspect it and see how well it's taken. So I've sanded this now to 400, just this area here, around here, just to give you an idea. Now this wood is still a bit soft here, however, it's taken well. Here there's a bit of an inclusion, if you like. Now I would fill that in now and go over the process again, just till I get it nice and even. However, it gives you an idea of what I've been talking about. Now I'll just apply a little bit of burnishing oil, and that should give you the effect. It's difficult in the light to actually see the copper sheen, but it is there, I assure you. But it's only evident at certain angles of light. So that gives you an idea of what you can do. This is the copper. There's bronze as well as silver, but also many other powders you can obtain on places like eBay, etc., to do the same thing. Okay, well, a bit of a fail, but nevertheless able to show you one of the methods of filling in cracks. It does take time. Some people will say, is it worth it? I think it is at the end because it looks pretty good. Well, I hope you found that of some interest. Shame it didn't work out as I wanted it to, but nevertheless I got the opportunity to show you the powders and the effect that they give. Obviously, depending on the time you want to take on it, you can get that better finish and look. Maybe try different colour powders on the same piece, whatever. Anyhow, thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Cheers now.